In 2011, Mini returned to the World Rally Championship after more than 4 decades away, aiming to recapture their past rallying glory. Partnering up with Prodrive, the team that brought success to the Subaru brand in rallying, they introduced the Mini John Cooper Works WRC car. However, despite early promise, financial struggles and limited success quickly curtailed that program, ending it prematurely. So what went wrong with Mini's WRC comeback, and why did BMW pull out of the WRC after just 1.5 years? Let's take a look at Mini's short-lived journey in the modern-day WRC. Our story begins in 2010, when Prodrive, after having lost their WRC program due to Subaru pulling out of the sport, was looking for a new manufacturer to re-enter the sport with. Rumours linked the British team with Hyundai and even Volkswagen, but in the end, in July of the same year, Mini announced their entry for the 2011 WRC season alongside Prodrive. Parent company BMW said that they were targeting a WRC championship by 2013, which is a rather bold statement. The car was unveiled on October 1st, 2010 at the Paris Motor Show. Almost immediately, driver selection was a hot topic amongst rally fans. Mads Østberg was one of the first names mentioned to be in contention for a seat for 2011. The Norwegian had been running Subaru cars in the WRC as a privateer for some time now, with a Norwegian adapter team. Østberg became the first driver to test the Mini in September of the same year, with Marco Martin, who also tested Prodrive's later Subaru cars, swapping for Østberg later on in the test. Interestingly, the 5x WRC rally winner had a young driver by the name of Oit Tanak on his side in the test. Per Gunnar Andersen was also a name linked with Mini's program. For the second seat, Prodrive wanted a young British driver, with David Richards saying that the team were looking for a driver with personality, a bit more outspoken,
so fucking annoyed,
a bit more edgy, and a bit more proactive, as this will suit the Mini brand. Whatever the last part means. Chris Mick got the gig, beating out the likes of Guy Wilkes and Keith Cronin. The Northern Irishman was the 2009 IRC champion, driving for Kronos with a Peugeot 207 S2000. Another driver who was rumoured to be in a Mini Countryman WRC was 2000-2002 world champion Marcus Grönholm. Grönholm had driven a Prodrive Impreza in Portugal in 2009, setting impressive times, and had also driven a Focus WRC in Sweden in 2010. Grönholm even tested the Mini WRC in Portugal, and the rumour mill had him doing a part-time season, with his protégé Jarko Nikara competing in the rest of the rallies. The first seat would not go to any of the aforementioned drivers though. Østberg chose a full-time campaign with Stobart, and Marcus Grönholm withdrew interest. PG Anderson was set to get the seat until a new name appeared. Dani Sordo became a free agent after Citroën chose Sebastian Ogier to partner Sebastian Loeb for 2011, with the youngest of the Sebs outperforming the Spaniard in the latter half of 2010. Sordo also had an offer from M Sport for the upcoming season, but he'd have to find his own drive, meaning finding up to €1 million in sponsors. Eventually, the Spaniard signed for Prodrive on a 2-year deal. At this point, it's worth mentioning what Prodrive's business model to sustain their WRC program would be. The 2011 cars were cheaper and easily attainable to privateers. They were also a 2-for-1 effectively, because those WRC cars could run in S2000 spec for National Series and ERC and IRC, with the same engine and less aero. So Prodrive's goal was to sell as many of the cars as possible to keep the team running. This is not dissimilar to what M Sport does nowadays. Obviously, the British outfit still needed to find a title sponsor. The team wouldn't compete full-time in 2011. Their plan was to use 2011 as a development year for the car before a fall assault in 2012. The Mini WRC made its debut at Rally Sardinia. The car impressed, with Mick running 4th in the opening 3 stages before crashing out and retiring with a broken steering on the 3rd day. Sordo meanwhile finished 6th, a sound result for the Mini on its debut. In Finland, both cars retired with mechanical problems, with the team also not competing in Rally Estonia beforehand, due to the Northern Irishman crashing in testing. In Germany, however, things would change. Germany is a tarmac rally, which suited Dani Sordo, when his Citroën years was the only one to even come close to Sebastian Loeb. Sordo beat the factory Ford Fiestas and the privateer DS3 of Peter Solberg to end the rally in 3rd, giving the Mini its first ever podium finish, in only its 3rd start. Mick also had strong pace and was running 5th before he suffered an electrical failure. Germany also marked the first time 2 Minis were in the points, with Armindo Araujo finishing 8th in a privately entered Mini. In France, Sordo one-upped himself and finished 2nd in an impressive performance. The Spaniard led the rally early on and got Mini's first stage win in the process. He had to settle for 2nd, getting beaten by Ogier in the end by the slim margin of just 6 seconds. In Catalonia, Soto got 4th, but the highlight of the rally was Mini getting a 1-2 in the power stage, with Mick narrowly ahead of the Spaniard. The 2011 campaign ended with Mick finishing a strong 4th in the season finale in Wales Rally GB. After the season ended, issues between Prodrive and BMW, Mini's parent company, came to the surface. Prodrive will yet to find the title sponsor for the team, with reports saying that David Richards was looking for upwards to 15 million in sponsorship for the team. Prodrive also used a lot of privateer WRC spec minis for their testing feedback during the year, not always using their factory drivers and cars. As the time went on in the off-season, it became more apparent that Prodrive wouldn't be able to do a full season with 2 cars in 2012 unless they found sponsors or with extra help from parent company BMW. The German brand, though, had no reason to give the team any money. The deal between BMW and Prodrive was that BMW would develop the engine and pay for the initial development of the Mini Countryman WRC, but the running of the team and the finances of the WRC program would fall strictly on Prodrive's shoulders. The mess inside Prodrive became more apparent when David Richards started approaching pay drivers for the second seat of the team for 2012. Richards approached drivers that were not up to WRC standards and would normally finish behind the leading S2000 cars. One of them was Peter van Merkstein, who drove a privateer DS3 in 2011. As if things couldn't get any worse, the team missed the deadline to register as a manufacturer for the 2012 season. Prodrive and BMW reached an agreement with the FIA a month later for the team to compete in 10 rallies, skipping all the long-haul events, but still being considered the manufacturer entry. Mick's entry for 2012 came into more doubt after he posted this amazing tweet, which perfectly summed up his situation. Sure enough, it was announced that Pierre Campanat would be driving the second Prodrive Mini in Monte Carlo, as well as Alsace, Germany and Catalonia. Campanat had driven the Mini in the French Championship and selected tarmac WRC routes the previous year, scoring 2 points. Those came in Alsace, where he finished 9th, 8 minutes behind winner Ogier. Patrick Sandell was the next driver to be announced, with the Swede being announced for Rally Sweden and other unspecified rounds. At least Sandell had some pedigree, being the 2006 JWC champion. As all this was happening, David Richards stepped down from his role as team principal, with technical director Dave Willock taking his place. Great timing there, Dave. The opening round of the 2012 season was a breath of fresh air for the team. Dani Sordo again showed that the Mini was a competitive car, with the Spaniard finishing in second, albeit almost 3 minutes behind the dominant Sebastian Loeb. The Spaniard still beat the factory Ford of Peter Solberg and also the Citroen of Mikko Hirvonen. Maybe this was the result Prodrive needed to confirm to everyone that they mean business and that 2012 would be a good year for them and Mini. Well, as Rally Sweden approached, it became apparent that it wouldn't be the case. With the teams already preparing for the second round of the championship, BMW announced that Prodrive would be stripped of their works team status as a direct result of the team not finding enough funds to run the cars for the rest of the season. To ensure that the Mini WRC would be competing in the full 2012 season, BMW gave the works team status to Motorsports Italia, who had been running privateer Minis since 2011. But who even was Motorsports Italia? The team from Italy was an evolution of the Rally ad Italy team that used to run Mitsubishi Lancerevos back in the day. It had been running the Minis of wealthy privateers. For 2012, Motorsport Italia was running the Minis of Portuguese rally champion Armindo Araujo and Brazilian gentleman driver and Palmeiras FC president Paulo Nobre. As you can imagine, this was no prestigious lineup, with the two, and especially Nobre, struggling to match the pace of the S2000 leaders, never mind the other WRC drivers. Prodrive still remained in charge of handing out updates and development of the Mini WRC, with Motorsports Italia entering the works team by the name of Mini Team Portugal. The British team withdrew their entries for Rally Mexico and effectively ran one car for Dani Sordo part-time for the rest of the season. As for development, the now factory Minis didn't even run the latest spec in some rallies. Prodrive cars ran a B-spec Mini with a few more updates, whereas Mini Team Portugal kept switching between the B-spec and the older A-spec based on the proximity between rallies. The team's best result at the mid-season break would be Araujo's 7th in Mexico, that being 12 minutes behind the winner. Araujo would run out of sponsorship money in August, and Motorsport Italia would replace him with a WRC veteran, Chris Atkinson, who had driven for Subaru from 2005 to 2008 and had struggled to find his way back to the WRC. Atkinson did bring some better results for the team, finishing 5th on his debut in Germany, as well as 6th in Sardinia and 7th in Catalonia, but the Australian was by no means competitive. Atkinson was fighting Sebastian Ogier, who was in an S2000 Skoda. most of the time. As for Sordo and Prodrive, the season was not going any better either, as 6th in New Zealand was the best a Spaniard could manage. Jarko Nicara did manage 5th in Catalonia, but he was a good 16 minutes off the pace. So the 2012 season came and went, and Mini Team Portugal had competed in all of the necessary rounds of the championship, thus completing the Mini Countryman's WRC homologation. To the surprise of pretty much no one, BMW pulled out of the sport at the end of the year, ending manufacturer support for the project. Mini Team Portugal also put all of their Mini WRCs up for sale at the end of the season. Prodrive were still looking to continue running the Mini Countryman WRC in 2013, giving out bold, delusional statements that they were targeting a win in the 2013 season opener. Dani Sordo left the team to resign for Citroën, and Chris Meek also left in search of a drive for the 2013 season. The team wanted to sign Nuvo, with other drivers also rumoured, namely Juho Hänninen and Evgeny Novikov. All three would end up signing for M Sport. Other drivers like Jarko Nicara and François Delecourt were also mentioned. Elsewhere, Michael Kosciuszko entered Rally Monte Carlo in a Mini in an ex-Motorsport Italia chassis, with Lotus WRC also set to do more rounds across the season. As for Prodrive, the team would not run in Monte Carlo, nor in any other rally competitively. The Mini kept being run in local rallies and some privateers until the end of the regs in 2016, but without any notable results. That brings us to the end of the story. The Mini WRC project showed promise in the beginning, but without any proper backing, alongside Prodrive's inability to find sponsors, it died a slow death that it didn't deserve.
I'm hopeful, yes I am hopeful for today. Take this music and use it, let it take you away, and be hopeful, hopeful, and he'll make a way. I know it ain't easy, but that's okay, cause we hopeful.
I wish that you could show some love instead of hating so much when you see some other people coming up. I wish I could teach the world to sing, write some music and have them tripping off the joy I bring. I wish that we can hold hands, listen instead of dissing lessons from a grown man. And I wish the families that lack but got love get some stacks, brand new shack and a lack that's on dubs. And I wish we could keep achieving wonders, see the vision of the world through the eyes of Stevie Wonder. You feel me? And I hope all the kids eat, and don't nobody in my family see 6 feet. You did. I hope the mothers stand strong. You can make it whether you with them or your man's gone. And I wish I could give every celly some conversary, and the popo bring the heat on a piece like that did R. Kelly. And I wish that DOC could scream again, and bullets could reverse and Pac and Biggie breathe again. Then one day they could speak again. I wish that we only saw good news every time we look at CNN. I wish we could never get the blues. Wish I could bring back the people that died at E2. I wish that we could walk a path, stay doing the right thing, hustle hard so the kids maintain up in the game. Let's
hopeful, yes I am hopeful for today. Take this music and use it, let it take you away, and be hopeful, hopeful, and he'll make a way. I know it ain't easy, but that's okay, cause we hope.
Wish the earth wasn't so apocalyptic. I try to spread my message to the world the best way that I can give it. We can make it, always be optimistic. If you don't listen, gotta live my life the best way that I can live it. I pray for justice when we go to court. Wish it was all good so the country never even went to war. Why can't we kick it and just get them on? And in the famous words of Mr. King, why can't we all just get along?